Hi, Chris. How are you?
DeNiro. How are you?
Hey.
See what I did there, Rob?
You looking at me? You looking at me?
Looking at you.
Are you looking at me?
Looking at you.
You looking at me?
I'm looking at you.
I don't think you're looking at me.
I think I am looking at you.
Chris, how are you?
Good, Rob. I'm tired.
How are you now?
Long week. Good week.
Yeah.
Good week. But a long week. Rewarding week. Rewarding week.
Raining.
Oh, fence blew down today.
Rainy
The
week.
fence blew down today.
Your fence? Oh my goodness.
All of it. Down.
All of it?
600 quid's worth.
Eesh. Your neighbor helping you out, or is it yours?
Mine. Very, very
Yours.
very much mine. It's grand. It needed to be done anyway, so it's a job needs to be done. But anyway, there you go.
You put up a nice chain link fence with some barbed wire at the top?
Yeah. I've gone Trump. I put a seesaw. Put a seesaw through for the next door neighbours. That's actually a nice idea. I'll maybe propose that to the next door neighbours. Do a bit of a...
Say, listen, I'm thinking of putting up chain link fence with some razor wire across the
Would
top.
you mind?
Because that's all I can afford. What do you think? Here.
Let's get it.
Here's £1,000.
Do you know what? It needs done, and it's... I could do it myself. I could do it myself, but I don't have time. I'm unfortunately busy at the minute.
You can do fencing, can
Yeah,
you?
Jesus.
Well, yeah. Maybe I need to hire you to come out here and we'll do some fencing along the...
You don't need to
fields.
hire me, Rob. You just need to ask me, and I'll come out as a friend and do it. How's that?
Chris! Come on out and do some
You
fencing.
never need to hire me to do anything around your place. Ever.
You just probably won't survive.
I'd be okay. The dogs would like
We'll
me,
get you
Rob.
really thick clothing.
Yeah. Only around the testicles there.
And we'll get you a helmet. Because maybe the dogs might like you, but if you get into the field with the horses...
I'm a horseman, Rob.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cassie and Apache and Barbarella are not to be reckoned with.
They're not. They wouldn't be any worse than my traveller horses.
They are a force.
I'm a force.
What's that? You're right there.
Yeah, I'm good.
How's your head?
Good. My head? My head's okay.
okay.
My head's okay.
All right. So I got 3 stories tonight.
3? I've won 3. The Holy Trinity. Mine's kind of a religious scenario tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Father, Son, the Holy Ghost. Yeah, kind of like that, but in a photographic sense.
God, you're so religious.
Do you know, Rob? You know what? The more I think about well-being, and the more I think about looking after yourself, the less religious I become. Religions. God, I could say something very profound.
Oh, let's not go down that road.
There you go.
Stop you there. Let's not go down
Why?
that road. We don't want to talk about religion or politics.
Really?
Yes, because we might divide our audience.
Bloody divided anyway.
Three of them.
There's one to the left, one to the right, and one sitting on the fence. But they're okay. Well, one could move either way, and the fence will fall down like my wall.
Yeah. So, Sony.
What about Sony? You're going to talk about the A1 again. Don't talk about the A1, Rob.
No, I'm not going to. Actually. I'm going to talk about the FX3.
What's the FX3?
So the FX3 is basically the cinema camera version of the AS3.
Yeah, it's nice.
And Chris, I'm saving my pennies because I think that's what I'm going to get.
Why?
Because I was seriously thinking about the AS3, but I have 2 great cameras that I love right now already with the A7 III and the A7R3.
You don't even know what you have. You're so wealthy.
I just got to keep all these numbers and letters straight. But, the AS3, I think, is just too much of a compromise to buy that as a stills camera that does good video. I think you're better off buying it as a video body, that does stills on the side. It can do stills, but, you'll never use it as stills. But it's more of a video cinematography camera. Practically the same price.
3?
I think within 35.
Why don't you just bite the bullet and buy yourself an A1? I love all those capabilities, won't that?
No, it doesn't.
Does it not?
And the other thing is, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. But the thing is I don't need to spend another £3,000 on top of that just to have the variable shutter speeds for the anti-flicker.
I do, Rob.
No, I think it's great. I think it's absolutely phenomenal, especially for you. Like it's a game changer. But I don't shoot enough film to, I shoot commercials, TV commercials and stuff. So
yeah, I know.
I mean, if I had a film, I would probably seriously think about getting one. Definitely. Just figure out how to put it on a credit card or something.
A1 are you talking about?
Yeah.
Or the A9, or the A9 too.
Yeah, but the A1 goes a little bit further with that variable shutter speed stuff.
No, I don't need anything more than the A2 does. I've been really researching it.
Have you now?
Well, yeah, Jesus, really researching it.
Well,
I'm about to be busy, I think. So.
Oh, that's great. Good for you, dude. GFY.
I love your GFYs. Although they do come across as though it's not really. You don't really mean it.
Goofy.
It sounds like
goofy.
Goofy you. Goofy you. Goofy you.
Goofy.
Goofy you. I have dry skin in my head, Rob.
There used to be a restaurant in the beaches in my hometown, and it was called Good Food. It was a Chinese restaurant, but the neon lights had died years ago. So all it read was GOOF.
Love it. Goof.
So everybody always just used to say, hey, we're going to the Goof.
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
For Chinese.
Rob, that's what we should change the name of the weekly dose to. Goof.
Goof?
GOOF.
Space.
F. Robert. That's a lovely first story. Do you think you will? You don't do that much video, though.
We're getting more and more into it, so.
I don't know if I would want to. I don't want to limit me.
I think for the little jobs, I think it's, I would love to have the option to shoot raw video. I mean, it just makes, S-Log and all this other stuff, it's great, but,
it is what it is.
To be able to shoot raw, it's easy for a photographer to just transpose himself into that raw workflow in cinema.
Your soup.
Yeah,
it's nice.
So what's your story, Chris?
Well, this week, I talk about Belfast Exposed far too much, but I can't help myself. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why. This week, Belfast Exposed started a thing at the beginning of the lockdown. I think we've talked about it, Street View. And it's a huge big screen in the window.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
With speakers, so it's spoken word and moving image and still image. And it was an answer to COVID. So it was essentially, the gallery's closed. We can't let people in. But, people do walk past. Students walk past university. People walk past. People drive past. There's an audience. Let's answer that. Let's give that audience something to look at. Even if it's only for, a minute, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, let's do something. So we have been running Jill Quigley, who I'm a massive fan of, who did Quigley's Point. Quigley's Point, am I right saying that? No. Quigley Cottages. I'm so tired, you wouldn't believe it. It's been a very, very particular young boy at the minute. Anyway, we've just had a guy called Tristan Poyser. I hope I pronounced that right, Tristan. Mm-hmm. Next up is Matthew Finn. Then we have Alec Soth. Then we have Jan Preston. Yep. So it's really growing. Okay, it's a big names on a small screen. Okay, that's kind of how we're pitching it. For Alex to do it is a big deal. For Tristan to do it is a big deal. Okay, for Matthew Finn to do it's a big deal. For us, okay, because it's about engagement and everything else, and about giving people an opportunity to look at work, but also hear what the work's about, stand and watching it. Okay, so that's really nice. Mm-hmm. So Tristan was showing his work this month, And he did a talk on Thursday, I think it was, and Deirdre Robb, who's the creative director of Belfast Exposed, was hosting it, and along with Connor. So he came on, and I don't know if you know Tristan's work. No, maybe not.
I remember the name. I'm not familiar with the work, though. I've probably seen it, but...
He'd been in the Futures programme, okay? So it's a testament to the Futures programme as well, which Belfast Exposed run. So he comes on, and he does this talk about his work. Now, the work is, and I'll talk about the work in a second, the work's incredible. I mean, incredible. But what's really beautiful about the whole thing was his delivery of the talk around the work. He's a...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it was... First of all, he announces ADHD, okay, and he finds it really hard to focus and concentrate. And if he doesn't, jump on a project and go with it, then it doesn't happen. And all of this stuff around that, which is really, you kind of laying yourself bare there. Plus, he's super honest about not knowing about stuff, not knowing how to do funding, not knowing how to, areas of research. It was, I said we had a chat after it, and I said, it was the most refreshingly unacademic, and I meant that as a massive compliment. It was a really refreshing unacademic approach to photography. It was just weighted absolutely perfect. And what was even nicer was his aunt and uncle, and his uncle is the photographer who kind of got him into the whole thing, was on the Zoom. Okay, so he's made work. He made a piece of work called The Invisible In Between. Okay, and The Invisible In Between.
What was it called? Sorry,
The Invisible In Between. Okay, and it's an Englishman's search for the Irish border. Okay, so
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's nice. Now I have to say, I'm a fan of the work already. Okay, I just think it's intelligent. I think it's a really credible way of approaching, especially that Englishman. It says exactly an Englishman's search for the Irish border. So he comes over here with limited knowledge, I get a sense of, and then he goes around, but it starts becoming participatory. So he gets people to tear photographs where they think the border is, and then write down on a page. So it's kind of this interventionist, participatory. It's really interesting. And you imagine, he said, for him to rip a photograph was interesting. It took him to somewhere else within his practice. But for other people to rip photographs aren't something, books aren't something we rip. Photos aren't something we rip for sure. So this ripping of, the tearing of, and then, but also the imagined, where is the border? It starts to put stuff in place. So anyway, he talks about this at length, and it's just absolutely beautiful. To do with Brexit, to do with the referendum. It's really layered. Okay, and this is from a guy who considers himself to be an early career artist. And I'd maybe have an argument with him about that. And he's also
an early career
an
artist?
ECR, early career artist. Somebody who's emerging.
How old would he be?
I don't know. I would hate to say he's in his 40s anyway, I would say.
Oh, okay.
But nice guy. But then he puts up another piece of work, and which I know about as well, but it's whenever things kicked off and work was light, he had to get a job in Amazon. So he's been a freelancer all his life, has to bite the bullet. And
he's driving?
No, he's freelancer. He had to go and get a job. And no, I see what you're saying. No, he was working in the packing centre.
What, here in Belfast?
Oh, in Cumbria, I imagine, somewhere in the north of England.
Okay.
Sorry. So off he goes, okay. Initiated by a commission from Historic England and employment in the Amazon warehouse. Now, I get a sense that he had to go and do that because money was light. His wife was on maternity. There was no money coming in. What do? You go and you do whatever. So now he worked to work in Amazon that was filled with air hostesses and architects, people who were screwed.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But think of this. How exciting is that whenever you're there with a project in your head? You know what I mean? So he approaches Amazon and he says, he wanted to do He wanted to make this social documentary piece about COVID-19, the pandemic, recorded through a typology of 136 mass portraits with the written personal comments and an artist's reflection and interpretation of the personal impact and experience of the pandemic that Lockdown explored through self-portraits and still life photographs. Okay, so the participatory stuff is basically guys in Amazon holding, and a really beautiful portrait. He says he's not a portrait photographer, but I think he's talking through his arse. Holding a page, and it's basically got a kind of a positive and a negative on it, mostly. So it's just, it's people from Nigeria, people from all, you can imagine, England, Amazon, COVID, loads of people need to work, so it's probably a good place. He said he was earning £27,000 a year as a packer, you know what I mean? And he said that it was really, really good because he approached the bosses and said, "This is what I'm trying to do," showed them images, and they really ran with it. They thought it was a really good idea. And he said the best thing about it was it gave him half an hour off work every day. And whenever he was photographing people, it gave them a half an hour off. So it was this really nice, gentle conversation. But anyway, I'll put links up. You have to go and look at it. It's just absolutely
for sure
beautiful. Beautiful. And then we have still life and performative portraits, which is to do with masks and kind of detritus from COVID. But Tristan Poyser, there you go. People will love this because honestly, and he's a lecturer in Cumbria University now.
Great! Wow.
So it's all worked out well. But I do hope that it doesn't go down the academic. It's not going to, because he's not that sort of person. We're going to
the MP way.
Yeah, we don't want to. You know what the crack is with academia and research.
Don't want to go down that MP way.
No, MP. Michael Fishy.
Oh my God! You just got it. It was gonna.
I know.
Margarita was gonna come out my nose there for a second.
This guy's work is, and not only that, important. I'll find a link to it. He's got a limited edition book, and he's doing limited edition prints of the participatory portraits and the still life and performance portraits, I think, which has come out in a wee while. If anybody's any wit, go and support them. Go and buy it. I think it's £12. You know what? It's what you.
That's affordable.
It's a three bottles of wine. It's affordable for sure. Now I've rambled there, but that's my. Whenever you hear something, Rob, you listen to somebody, and at the end of it, you're just like, I went into it feeling kind of like, yeah, okay, I'll I work in Belfast, I suppose I'll listen to this, and I come out of it with, it was inspirational. It's probably one of the best up there with Matt. I know how I feel about Matthew Finn. Up there with Matthew, just absolutely beautiful. There you go. What's your next story, buddy?
My next story is Canadian magazine Photo Life.
Love the Canadians.
They're good people. They're polite for the most part.
You know what? Do you not think they have a problem? There's a problem in Canada with racism at the minute, isn't there? I've talked to you about this before.
Yeah, it's because of what's been going on south of the border. And yes, yeah. Well, that's an age-old.
Is it? I didn't know about that, Rob. I did not. It's a piece of work. I'm sure somebody's done a piece of work. I must look it out. But anyway, let me not put your country down.
Yeah, we can talk about that off air, and I'll tell you more about that. But Photo Life, Canadian magazine, is producing its last printed edition for March of this year.
Will you buy it?
That's it. Well, dude, I had been published a few times early on,
when they had no
Photo Life,
when they had no wit.
I had been published in like a couple of magazines, like smaller magazines, and a few like newspaper stories, portraits and stuff. But Photo Life was the first national magazine that I actually had a story in, and dude, I photographed my sister-in-law at the time, and it was in the backyard of my house, and I was reviewing the Balcar P2 battery system, It was
Rob,
hilarious.
hold on a second. Your sister-in-law, have you previously been married?
A couple times, yeah. Yes.
Oh, are you serious?
You know this.
I do not know that.
Yes, I've been married a few times. I don't think our three person audience needs.
No, we need to. Well, not now, but we'll have to go into that, Rob.
Yeah. Anyways, so yes, I was reviewing the Balcar P2 battery operated system.
You're so funny.
Which was an incredible little system for what it was. So Balcar made a P2 and a P4 system, which was basically a pack and a head. But instead of the capacitors being in the pack, they put the capacitors in the head and just the controls
on the pack.
That
sounds adventurous.
It was kind of okay in the studio when you were using the mains unit, which was the P4 unit, but it was incredible for the battery unit. Mm-hmm. So they had different sized heads. They had I think it was a 300, a 600, and a 1200 watt second. No, sorry, correct. 400, 800, and 1600 watt second heads, because they worked slightly in different ratios compared to everybody else. They did the 1600 watt second instead of 1200 watt second. So you could have two heads plugged into a P2 on location and get 3200 watt seconds, so 1600 watt seconds out of each head, with a lead acid battery.
Pro Photo are missing out. Pro Photo are missing a big trick there.
Well, this is kind of where, outside of Norman and Lumidyne, this is where big battery power started.
I have Lumidynes up in the
Balcar.
I have a set of Lumidynes up in the attic.
Do you? Made by the great senior citizens of Florida. That's what they used to do. They used to hire senior citizens to work on the line in Florida because they were cheap labor. And they would make Lumidynes.
Well, some old shit is buggered up because they're not working.
Oh, Lumidyne was hilarious, dude. I had so many friends travel with Lumidynes, and it would work in the city. They'd fly, they'd land in their destination, and it wouldn't work. They'd get back on the plane and fly home. They'd land in their hometown, and it would work again. Who knows, man?
I thought you could.
They were crazy little units.
I thought you could help.
Crazy little units.
Lumidynes because the trickle charger isn't working.
That's nothing. Just get yourself another trickle charger. It's not a big deal. But it's the batteries. You need to check those batteries. Those might need to be resold.
Oh shit! You need to be resold, Rob. Bloody three wives.
But when I saw that headline about the magazine going down, it was kind of a sad thing, but because it was kind of like popular photography for Canada. Yeah. It was, the popular photography magazine for Canada.
But it's still alive. It's just going online.
Yeah.
Online's a fad. I know what they're on about.
Yeah, this internet stuff, it'll never last.
Never last. Brings us back to Noel Bowler. Noel Bowler and his...
No.
Yeah. We talked about his Kickstarter to do with the newspapers going down the tubes. Noel's very clever. I love Noel. We cover such a range of stuff.
I got one last story.
Right.
One last story. This is about copyright.
You love copyright, Rob.
So, it drives me insane. It drives me insane. It drives me insane.
It makes you horny. It does.
No.
It does. Tech
so
stuff makes
copyright. The big copyright story this week is Kat Von D, the tattoo artist.
Love her, him, her, love them, love them. Her.
It's a female.
Love her.
So she has tattooed a image of Miles Davis
Don't
on somebody.
Don't do this, Rob. Don't tell me this story.
Yeah. But the photographer, his name is Jeff Sedlik.
No, he's not. He's not trying to.
Sedlik.
He's not trying to take her to.
Sedlik. Yes.
He's not.
And it's a 30-year-old image.
He's trying to take her to court for tattooing. Where's Richard Prince if you need him?
It's a. They're classifying it as a derivative work. And there's been a few YouTubers who have been talking about this, and they don't even actually know who Jeff Sedlik is. They really need to do their research on Jeff before they start.
Are you on Jeff's side?
Pooing. Absolutely.
You're on Jeff's side.
Absolutely. And I will tell you off air about how I can put the nail in this coffin on this thing.
Well, tell me on. You can't say that. You can't say that.
No.
Why?
No, because it's,
put your money where your mouth is, Rob.
I can't say online.
You can.
Can't say.
He was one of your wives.
Listen,
secrets.
It's a short pier to go jogging off if we let somebody like this go.
Hold on
something like
this.
No,
listen, hold on. I don't get this. You and I don't often agree to disagree. Somebody has done a tattoo from a photograph.
Exactly.
And he
like the photograph. Exactly like the photograph.
It's a tattoo.
And
it's a tattoo.
She's a famous artist.
It's a tattoo.
And she's it's Prince. It's Richard Prince. What do you want? What's the difference? What is the difference?
But
it's art on somebody's body. Okay, the person will pass away and that art will disappear and it will be worthless then. But in the meantime, she is making money from it. She's putting it on Instagram. She's putting it on her Facebook. She's putting it on social media. She's getting monetary value from it.
You know what I'm going to do?
Absolutely.
You see your last Spar thing you did? I'm going to get a full back tattoo of Spar on my back and see who can. I don't agree with that, Rob. That's not right.
We got 2 minutes left here.
Let's argue them out. It's not right. It's not right. If she wants to look at something, and interpret, it's not. She isn't selling a print. She's reinterpreting.
No, but all of a sudden, all these jazz fans, let's say, Miles Davis fans, are going to go to her. So she's collecting more revenue
Good for
because of an image that somebody else created.
Be flattered.
Creatively created.
There's no way she can be sued. She can't be sued for that.
Yeah.
She can't.
Well, we'll see.
Well, the judge will be on my side. This is so important.
You probably know the judge. You probably know the judge's first name.
Just Judy?
You're on a first name basis.
Hey. You can't.
Is that the only judge you've gone in front of?
Judge Judy? No, I've been in front of a couple of judges, in fairness. You can't say that. You can't believe that, Rob.
Absolutely, Chris.
Jesus, you and I.
Absolutely.
This is why I love you, because you always throw a curveball, because you're such a bollock.
Okay. We'll talk about this off air, Chris.
I'm not going to say, Rob,
it's been great.
I'm not going to say I love you this week.
It's been great.
I'm confused by you now. The love is.
You're the best.
No,
you are the best.
No. If Teddy Von Trump can't do a tattoo, I don't know what the crack is, or whatever her name is.